doing gene therapy, very advanced. I'll show you a picture as soon as I get done with Jada's question.
Didn't all this start with the sheep? Dolly the sheep?
It started in '97 with sheep, with Dolly, and I'll go into that on Wednesday and show you the things that were wrong. We also did it on monkeys. And as a matter of fact, the Chinese have done this. This, well, it's supposed to be a pig. They did it to a pig, but it has a somewhat human face on it. And any guesses?
An eyeball?
No, this right here.
Reproductive organ?
Yeah, it's a male's penis. Now, why would someone do that? I would like to see my new pig and... Say what?
Bob it.
But why would somebody do that? Why would somebody do that? Oh, say what?
A replacement?
No, they just genetically engineered one. Didn't you see that mouse with the ear on the back of it? We did that.
Oh, they genetically engineered it with a penis?
And with a human face. Here, hang on. Let me do the video for you. I think this is the video. Here you go. Watch this.
That's quite disturbing.
Hang on, we're not done yet. Human pig chimera embryos detailed. What they've done is they've now put 1/1000th of human DNA into a pig. Now what happens then is it's only in one pig. Now if the pig mates, it goes to another generation, and then it mates and it goes to another one. And they're concerned 100 generations down the road, they call it a chimera or a new species. It's got our DNA in it. And we're getting, well, I don't know if we are or not. The Chinese evidently are getting good at this, much better than we thought. When the first picture that came out, they took it off the net. It took me forever to find it again. Hang on a minute, I'll get to everybody's question. Back here, they have, I think they have another picture. There's the monkey face. I thought there was one more here. Maybe there isn't. Oh, it was right here, and now it's... Hang on. There it is. And what they're doing is, look, all research goes through testing, people. In order to make something work, you test. That's what science is about. It tests. We experiment. And if it works right, we make another experiment and another one until we're sure that we have the system down right. And then we can introduce, that's why drugs go through trials until we make sure they're right, and then we introduce it into the system. And we see what it does to us. But we think it's workable because we can reproduce it. Western, if you're in my intro class, Western philosophy does reason and experimentation. If we can do it over and over and over again with the same results, we think that the system or the process is perfected, and we can go ahead and just use it without too many unintended consequences. And this is what they're doing now. And this is they're splicing things out and putting other genes in here and doing this and doing that. And then they're introducing our DNA into pigs. We have no idea what else they're doing.
I'd like to make two comments. The first is, now that we're talking about this, are there no moral or ethical checks? I mean, they just not. I mean, I look at that, and to me, that's an abomination. I mean, what makes you think that this is okay? Because your end goal is to get to a point where you can genetically engineer something. And to go off of that, I mean, my argument against this has always been genetically engineered plants and specifically dogs and cats. there is no such thing as a pure breed. We've genetically engineered that, and if you look at most pure breed dogs or cats, they have the most health problems among any species ever.
And that'll cost you $800 for a species, of course. Look, the corn. We've been doing genetic engineering for a long time. We haven't messed with the human genome until lately. The corn that you all eat is cardboard.
It's amazing.
There was something called sweet corn a long time ago, and they couldn't keep it up because they couldn't produce enough to feed the population, so we genetically engineered it. Sweet corn you didn't need butter for, and you didn't need salt for. It literally tasted, not sugary, but it tasted sweet. Corn syrup. And then we genetically engineered it, and that's why you have to use a lot of butter and salt, because it's really, you're eating cardboard. We did the same thing with wheat. We did the same thing with rice. We've been at this for a long time. Anybody like Macintosh apples? They never existed in the real. I think it was a farmer in Indiana, maybe, and he had two apples he liked, so he took a sprig from one and a sprig from another, and he got them to genetically engineer together, and that's now called a Macintosh apple. So it's not original. Nature doesn't produce it. We engineered it. It's a very tasty apple. It's not like your sour apple or whatever. It's a sweet-tasting apple. We've been doing this for a long time. With animals, those of you who may be PETA inclined, we test rhesus monkeys all the time to see if our drugs are right, to see if the things that we're going to do are right. So we've experimented on a lot of nature, and now we're finally getting to the point where we're experimenting on people. And that's maybe the greatest moral dilemma, and we're getting good at it. The problem is, this is what they do to figure out what will work or not. Now, honestly, I mean, I'd like to say I have a heart for the pig. I don't. I feel bad for the pig. My concern is, so if they're doing this and it gets out in public, what else are they doing that doesn't get out in public? That's the concern. Go ahead.
If I'm correct, wasn't it through bringing human genes into domesticated livestock like pigs, kind of pretty much eliminating trichinosis by eating semi-raw pig? I mean, you can get a digestive issue.
Well, pork, they've pretty well done away with that. You can eat pork that isn't totally cooked, and you won't get, but it was there, sure, it was there for a while, but I don't know if we genetically, I don't know. I don't have the answer to that. So here's the deal. So we used to have, well, she's down in Porter now. We had a biologist here. She's at Porter campus, and I got a hold of her while she was still here, and I said, I have a bunch of questions. Take me seriously. I'm kind of curious. I said, let's assume, from a biological point of view, that everything on the planet that's alive is in the same gene pool, that we all share the same gene pool. And we're unique, 23 and 23. She says, okay. I said, so just theoretically speaking, would it be possible, you know, back in the Middle Ages and the dark, people were like 3.5, 4 feet tall, and now we're growing them 7.5 feet tall. They're really big now. I said, could we maybe genetically engineer people to eventually be 10 feet tall? And she looked at me really weird. She said, where's this going? I said, just answer my question. She said, well, theoretically, we could. I mean, nature's gone from 3.5, 4 feet to 7.5. Just theoretically. I said, and could we maybe increase the heart by 4 sizes? Because when you get giantism, the heart doesn't, you know, and it gets overdone, it blows up. She said, well, theoretically, where's this going? I said, I'm not done yet. I said, and could we increase the hemoglobin, maybe the clotting factor, maybe by a factor of 4? So as soon as you got cut, you clotted right away. And she goes, theoretically, yes. I said, so now my last question is, I said, this is the largest organ on your body that's outside. It's got 7 layers to it. Every 7 days it reproduces from the inside out. That's why you do this. You wear clothing. It all exfoliates. And you have bugs that love to eat your... I'm sorry. You're born with 1 billion bugs on your system. You know that, right? On your skin. And they just eat you alive, literally. But good news, you reproduce more. Your somatic cells reproduce every... Okay. So I said, so could we reach in the gene pool and maybe we could take like alligator scales and genetically put them on 10 feet people? And she said, where are you going with this? And I said, clone army. As long as we can genetically, I mean, they're trying to put hawk vision in the human genome now. They know how to give us night vision. That would be nice to go out at night and hunt again.
Would it?
And she said, theoretically, yes. I thought, there you go. There are no mad scientists out there, are there? Oh, wait a minute, we just saw Hitler, and he wasn't the first. So look, What I've done purposely today is show you the downside. On Wednesday we get together, there's a lot of upside to it. In fact, I'm going to end with the video, this kind of a neat upside to it. Wherever there's hope, there's also catastrophe. You have to deal with both ends of the equation, people. This is going on right now. The politics of this doesn't get into some of the details that I've shared with you. Right now, there's no engine or no brakes to stop this. It's just going on. I just showed you a few things that are out of the Chinese bag. We have no idea what they're doing, any more than we really know what we're doing. There's a group in Las Vegas that calls themselves the Raelian group, and they say that the aliens came here and showed them how to genetically reproduce Raelian species. How do you know? If you had a genetically modified alien walking next to you and it looked like you because it was how would you know? Now, I don't mean to paint a bad picture. I just don't mean to paint a glossy picture. That's why I show you this stuff. Well, I'll finish with something else in a minute. Go ahead. 1, 2, 3.
Seeing locally some organizations offering stuff.
Sure.
Is that somatic?
Well, this is what I read too. That's a great question that Carl just asked. So far, what I've read was none of the embryonic stem cell research has worked. But the somatic or adult stem cells seems to be where the hope is. Now what they do is they induce these. I'll show you this again on Wednesday. They do some reverse engineering. Back in the day, IBM creates the computer, and a company, of course I'm not going to remember that. No, it begins with a C. Anyway, Compaq, thank you. So Compaq gets a hold of the IBM computer, and it takes it apart, and it figured out how it worked. And then they put it back together, but with their adjustments to it. And IBM freaked out and took them to court for patent infringement. And the court looked at all the documentation, saw exactly what Compaq did, what IBM did, and they said to IBM, they said, you can't sue them. They changed it sufficiently enough to make it a different product. What they did, it's called reverse engineering. So they saw the product and they went backwards to see how it happened, and then they made some adjustments to it. So what we have discovered is with somatic cells, we do some reverse engineering with them. Originally they were using viruses, and it turned out that the viruses affected and made these cancerous at times. We call these now pluripotent cells. They're kind of like embryonic cells, but they're not embryonic, so we can't make them do whatever we want, but they have a lot of elasticity or flexibility to them. And these are the ones that we now try and work with to try and bring about stem cell research. This is where the potential is right now. And the law doesn't allow you to destroy the embryo. There's just a lot of things that are going on with that. But right here is where the research is going on. And that's what they're doing then. Okay? And as long as you're privately funded, you can do that. A lot of money out there. Think of it this way. If someone, Jonas Salk, eliminated polio. One of his colleagues, as soon as Jonah published what he did, and it was verified that the vaccine works, said, well, you patented this, right? He's the only scientist I know said, no, this is the people's drug. He could have made millions off of it in a day, never patented. So if someone through genetic therapy could deal with Alzheimer's, could deal with dementia, could deal with ALS, could deal with HIV, could deal with any of this, do you have any idea the amount of wealth that could be made from this once the technology is patented? Unfathomable. Now, when we get to the law on Wednesday, I'll show you why the law has never been passed. Money talks.
Yes.